Many of you know what sex trafficking is all about. I'm going to give you an introduction so that you can hear somebody else's story before you hear mine.
Newport Richey police. Yesterday they went after the prostitutes and made 10 arrests. Today they turned the tables and it was the John's turn to go to jail. John, you had a couple minutes. You're under arrest for solicitation of prostitution. What am I supposed to do today? Rush hour takes on a whole new meaning along US 19 in Newport Richey. I talked to that girl, but I didn't want nothing to do with her. I wasn't picking her up. Women from the sheriff's office posing undercover as prostitutes walk the streets, back and forth. And it doesn't take long for men to pull over and offer them money for sex.
Darlene Pollock was standing in several inches of slush outside of her neighborhood convenience store, waiting to be picked up by a pimp. It was her 14th birthday.
I just kind of looked out at a three-way intersection. I wondered, can anybody see me?
But no one noticed Darlene as she climbed into a black Lincoln Continental and headed north. She was just sold to a businessman in Atkinson, New Hampshire.
My buyer was very, very happy and tickled when I awkwardly took off my socks frozen to my feet. And I lost my balance. He just giggled. And I'll never forget that moment because it sort of solidified for me that I was not actually a person, but just an implement for the use of someone's sexual gratification.
You see, Darlene was just beginning a journey into a dark, dark world many of us know little about. But it's one that is all too familiar for Jasmine Grace Marino.
You're not seen as a human. You're looked at as a product to be bought and sold.
Jasmine was 19. Her trafficker was a man who she thought was her boyfriend. The two dated for months. They were in love, or at least that's what Jasmine thought.
So he had total ulterior motives. I had no idea that I was, going to become his first one. He didn't have any other women working for him at the time. He was from the streets. He sold guns and drugs, and he knew that selling women would be a lot more profitable and a lot less risky.
Darlene and Jasmine were trafficked for several years. Darlene was passed between 4 different buyers. Jasmine was sent to a massage parlor in Hartford, Connecticut, before she was moved to another one in Kittery, Maine.
And it was a really weird situation because I was run away. I could have left. But it was this strange thing where I didn't. The best they can do is to beat you down and to also make you believe that you chose this life of prostitution.
Darlene and Jasmine did not grow up in traditional homes and dealt with struggles at an early age. Circumstances traffickers look for in their victims, says Tori Neville, director of the New Hampshire Human Trafficking Collaborative Task Force.
Hearing what happened to her just a few years ago on the streets of Miami, most of us never see, and some never escape. Local 10's Amy Viteri has the exclusive.
I just say I want to go home. You're like, oh, if you want to leave, I'll kill you, your family.
It's a rare look inside the nightmare endured by one sex trafficking survivor, sharing her story with the public for the first time. It's a case that made national headlines in 2013.
Honestly, I could have been dead a long time ago.
Now, 6 years after her rescue, that girl, now a young woman who we're calling Z, is finally speaking out exclusively to Local 10.
I was a runaway, and I was getting bullied for this, at school.
She was only 13 years old, a frequent runaway, not getting along with her mom. She ended up hanging out at Flea Market USA in Northwest Miami-Dade. It was there that she met Roman Thomas, a 26-year-old who asked if she wanted to hang out and took her to the Motel Shores at 105th and Mesquite Boulevard. And Thomas didn't waste any time. She says as soon as he got her to the motel, he had her change into skimpy clothing, took photos of her, and began shopping her on Backpage.com. Within hours, she says, she was being told to have sex for money. Her trafficker, Thomas, and his accomplice, Shanteria Sanders, fed her drugs and alcohol to keep her compliant, beating her when she said she wanted to go home.
She slapped me, punched me, take me, choke me.
That's when Z says he took her back to the flea market, this time to have someone tattoo his pimp name on her eyelids, branding the delicate skin with the words, Suave's House.
And it told the world, you're nothing, you are mine.
Police arrested Thomas and Sanders after Z's mother learned where she was. She says her first instinct was she was in trouble, breaking down when officers assured her this wasn't her fault.
When I hear stuff like that, I start crying. Because at the end of the day, I still feel like I did something wrong.
Her story shocked the South Florida community, including Miami-Dade State Attorney Catherine Fernandez-Brundle.
Was released on $300,000 bond. Fugitive, the Brewster cop, was released on $300,000 bond. Fugitive, the Brewster cop, was released on $300,000 bond. Fugitive, the sex trafficking and bribery indictment. Prosecutors say the officer accepted sex with young women.
This is in New York. Must be T.J. Donovan's friend.
Reports.
Federal prosecutors call it a betrayal of the badge. In the quiet village of Brewster, veteran cop Wayne Pfeiffer is charged with protecting a sex trafficking ring that victimized young women, including minors.
Shocking, very shocking. He just took whatever power he had within the police force probably and just thought he had a way, to get around the law.
Sounds like Jeff Hare from Island Pond, now living in Plymouth, Mass.
Those 5 allegedly brought young women from Mexico to New York, promising good jobs, then forcing them into prostitution, allegedly transporting the women to clients in Brewster and many other locations. Investigators say Pfeiffer helped ringleaders steer clear of law enforcement. In return, they provided women for him to have sex with, sometimes
T.J. Donovan?
to the police station. Court documents say
Jeff Hare?
evidence against Pfeiffer includes hundreds of text messages exchanged with one of the
Jeff
accused
Noyes?
sex traffickers. In one, Pfeiffer asks about the physical characteristics of a young woman, adding, "Are you stopping at the station?"
I'm just asking. That sounds like Jeff
Pfeiffer was,
Noyes.
quote, complicit in these deplorable acts against vulnerable women. Juan
Sounds like
Mendez
Jeffrey
knows
Noyes and
Pfeiffer
T.J.
from around the
Donovan to me.
village. Are you surprised to hear that he's been charged?
Oh, yes.
Jeffrey Hare as well.
Everybody will be surprised.
The U.S. Attorney says young women victimized in this crime are being offered help and support. In Brewster, Putnam County, Tony Aiello, CBS.
Charged in a federal sex trafficking and bribery indictment. Prosecutors say the officer accepted sex with young women.
This is in That's sex trafficking part 1. Police involvement. Now I'm going to end this one and I'm going to tell you about sex trafficking and the carnival business along with the police and a whole lot more that go along with it.